They'll sing of the witcher who cleaned the monsters out of Vizima. No one sings of the women who kept each other alive while he was busy. So I will. My name is Bronka, and at Carmen's house, I was the one who counted heads. Carmen kept the house. I kept the count. 6 of us under that roof, sometimes 7. And every night when the bells went quiet, I walked the rooms, and I touched each door, and I said a name. Lena, Mirka, Aneska, Viera, Stana, Gretka, like a prayer. Except the goddess I prayed to was just a tally of breathing women, and I meant to keep every one of them in it till morning. You think you know what we were. The trade quarter knew. They had a word for us they spat through clean teeth, and they used the word and the door of our house both. The same men, often the same night. We were the thing they needed, and the thing they were ashamed to need. And shame in a man is a dangerous weather. It looks for somewhere to fall. I'd been doing this longer than the others, long enough to learn the only door that ever opens is the one you hold yourself. Nobody was coming for us. Not the guard. They didn't come past the arch after dark. Said the alleys weren't worth a man's neck. And they weren't wrong. Only it was our necks they were leaving in the alleys. Not the temple. The temple had marked our whole quarter for the plague, and the plague for the poor, and us for less than that. So we kept us. That was the arrangement. Unwritten. Older than Carmen's house. Bread shared down to the heel of the loaf. A coin pressed into a girl's palm when a customer turned cruel, so she could go and not come back. The candle in the window, that was mine. I'd light it so any of ours caught out late had a thing to walk toward in the fog. A carried light says, "Someone is awake. Someone counts you." That's a small magic, that light. The only kind we had. The killing started before the leaves turned. First, it was a beggar. Nobody counts a beggar. Then, a tanner's boy who'd come down the wrong lane. Then, and this is when the house went quiet in a new way. Then, Alina, who worked the corner by the cistern, who I'd shared a roof with 2 winters back. They found her at first light, with her throat open so wide and so clean the temple wouldn't call it a knife. They wouldn't call it anything. A misadventure of the quarter. A thing that happens to women who walk at night. As if the walking were the crime, and not the thing that hunted us for it. But I'd seen knife work. The quarter teaches you knife work whether you ask or not. This wasn't knife work. The marks on Alina were too wide for a blade and too clean for teeth. And I lay awake the night they buried her, doing the arithmetic of it. And I did not like the only sum that came out true. Something was in our quarter that wasn't a man, and it only ever hunted on the nights the moon hung full and fat over the canal. I started keeping the girls in on the full moon nights. No customers, no corner, no exceptions. I barred the door and I counted heads twice, and I sat up with a candle while they slept. And Carmen never argued the lost coin, which told me Carmen had done her own arithmetic and reached my number. And then there was Vincent. Captain Mice, Vincent. The one guard who did come past the arch. The only badge in Vizima who ever stood in our doorway like we were people behind it. He'd bring bread when the temple's dole came short. He took our reports of the killings when no one else would write them down, and he wrote them down. He swore to me, in this house, with his hand flat on the table, that he'd find the thing in the dark and put it down. I believed him. Goddess help me, I made the other girls believe him too. There's one good man with a sword, I told them. Sleep. Vincent's watching. I saw it on the 3rd full moon. Couldn't sleep. Took my candle to the beck step for air. And there it was, across the water, going along the eaves like a spider made of dog and shadow. And the moon caught its eye, and the eye caught the moon back. I doused my light, and I did not breathe, and I watched it drop into the alley behind the Coopers, where I knew, because I knew everything in this quarter, that was my whole and only use, where I knew Aneska had slipped out an hour before, to see a man who paid in real silver. I ran, no light, no shoes, just me and the Count in my head. Aneska, Aneska. And I came around the Cooper's wall, and the thing was there, hunched over nothing yet, head up, listening. And it turned, and I knew the face under the face. Goddess, forgive me, I knew it. The decent, tired eyes. The man who brought us bread. I had a heartbeat to choose, and I want you to understand what the choice actually was, because it wasn't the choice you'd think. I could scream, and the thing takes me instead of Aneska, maybe. Or scream, and it takes us both. Or, and this was the colder column, I could do nothing, say nothing, ever. Because if I named what I'd seen, who would I name? The one guard who came past the arch. The one man who wrote our dead in a book. Name him, and the girls lose the only sword that ever stood in our door. And the quarter learns that even Vincent was a thing in the dark. And what's left for women like us then? But to know there is no good man, only ones who haven't turned yet. I'd spent my life teaching frightened women that the light in the window meant safety, that someone good was awake and counting. And here was the truth of our quarter, breathing in the alley. The protector and the predator were the same tired man. And the only thing standing between Aneska and her throat was a woman with a rock, and no good choices. So I threw the rock. Not at the thing, at a stack of Cooper's barrels past it. They went over like thunder. It went for the noise, the way a dog will. Aneska ran. I pressed myself flat to the cold wall and I counted. 1 head. 2. Both gone. Both breathing. And the thing was over the roofs and gone. And I was still alive. And I had told no one anything. The stranger came that week. The Witcher. Scarred, cat-eyed. The kind of quiet that makes a room go careful. He sat with Carmen, and he asked about the killings, patient, no spitting, no shame in him at all, which made him stranger to me than his eyes did. He asked who'd been taken. He asked when. He asked about the moon. He asked me last, because I was the one who counted. Anything about the captain, he said. Not unkind, just a man who'd already done the arithmetic and was waiting to see if I'd done it too. And there was my second choice, harder than the rock. Tell him. Tell the strange, cold man with the wolf's eyes. And maybe he ends it clean and the killing stops. But I'd be handing Vincent to a stranger's sword. The one badge who ever came past the arch. on nothing but a face I'd seen in moonlight that I half prayed I'd dreamed. Or say nothing, keep our one good man, and light the candle every full moon, and bar the door, and bury whoever I couldn't keep inside. I told him, the plain truth no more, who, when, and the moon, and the face I'd seen under the face. Lesser evil's still evil, but it's the one you live through. I chose the girls who were still breathing over the man who'd protected us between the nights he hunted us. I have never been sure I was right. I have only ever been sure there was no right. He went out into the quarter, and I never learned the end of it, whether he killed the thing or cured the man, whether Vincent died a monster or lived a guilt-rotted captain somewhere far from any moon. The great quarrels burn through us and leave us to count what's left. The killings stopped after that. I noticed, the way you notice a tooth that's quit aching. I went back to counting heads, and the count came out whole, full moon after full moon. And I stopped sitting up with the rock. But I never told the girls why the dark went quiet. Let them keep believing one good man with a sword had saved them. It's a warmer thing to sleep beside than the truth, that the only thing that ever truly stood in our door was each other, and a candle one tired woman remembered to light. The Witcher rode out of the temple quarter and into a legend. Bronka lit her candle every full moon for the rest of her nights, so the unprotected would always have a light to walk toward. The great men get the songs. The rest of us get the morning after. This was theirs.